Welcome to another edition of the Deep Third Podcast. I'm Sir Fresh, aka Terrell. Um, some call me Breeze, but listen, we had last week off, had some family things to take care of, but we back in front of y'all again today. Whether you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, we appreciate y'all listening in. Whether you catch it live or whether you catch it on the flip side. So I'm gonna let everybody else introduce themselves, and then it's gonna come back to me for a couple of minutes.
You muted, Dante.
Man, it's Coach Parker in the building. You already know what it is. We coming live on Facebook, on the gram, or I'm sorry, not the gram, but what, YouTube? YouTube. So we here, baby. We ready to go, baby. Let's get it.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Fave here, the last third of the Deep Third Sports Podcast show. Make sure you guys stay tuned for the whole episode. We got some good content coming to you guys, and we also got that segment that we always come to you guys with is Deep Thought, where we answer your guys' questions, comments, anything like that. Put them down in the chat, and we'll make sure to address them. Back to you, Sure Fresh.
Hey, before Jarrell go, make sure if you didn't already subscribe and like and share already. Let's go.
All ready, sir. All right, y'all. Hey, listen. So this fresh thought is our first segment of our podcast. So basically, I just get to come to y'all with some off the top of the brain stuff that I've seen this week. Um, Sometimes I decide to get a little upset. You might see my face get all scrunched up, something, voice might get a little high, but it's all good. So I would say over the last 2 weeks, since we haven't been on in 2 weeks, there's been a lot of news going on, but this is something that really caught my eye. It's the NFL salary cap. So, I'm just riding to work, just chilling, just listening to some sports radio, and I hear this crazy stat. The New Orleans Saints, based on what the projected salary cap is about 60 some $1 million over the cap. So now with that, they kind of incorporated. They're at the top end. I think Jacksonville might be at the low end as far as they got a ton of money. Um, but here's the thing that I'm kind of racking my brain about. They talked about all these star players that are older veterans that are about to get cut, and they had a couple of I guess executives and coaches make this statement. It's about to be a change in the NFL because players that you never thought was going to be available are getting ready to be available within the next week and a half. So you have teams like Jacksonville who's been boo-boo. You've had teams like the Jets that have been garbage, but they have a lot of money, and there's going to be a lot of all-star Pro Bowl caliber players that are getting ready to get released because these teams got to find some sort of relief to get under that cap. Um, we're going to talk about this a little bit more, but the Seattle thing intrigues me because of what's going on in Seattle and the amount of money dead cap. So when we talked about it a couple weeks ago with Carson Wentz, he's got 30 some $1 million in dead cap money. That is crazy. But I'm gonna throw it to y'all if y'all got anything about it. It just astounds me to hear the number of 60 some $1 million over the cap. That means you got to come down 60 some million before you can sign anybody. I throw it to you, Dante and Fade.
Babe, you got anything?
No, I don't really got anything on that. You can go ahead.
All right, man. Hey, well, that's definitely crazy. And I'm excited to see who the Bucks about to pick up, baby. Cause hey, we going. They coming for the low. Let's go. Anyways, so first topic that we have on the docket, man. So this was a question that was brought up by a viewer, and so we appreciate you guys leaving your comments. So, as Jarrell and Fabe said earlier, and as we always say, please leave comments. When you leave comments, we will read them and we will make comments. And if it's a question that you want us to do, leave it in there and we will do it. So, this shout out to the viewer, but so he was asking about Dak Prescott. So so the question is, what are you guys' thoughts on the Cowboys and that situation? Um, do you think that is asking for too much? Do you think the Cowboys are not doing enough? So what are your thoughts?
All right, man, I gotta take this. Y'all already know I'm a Cowboys fan, baby. I got the I got my Cowboys pillows. Y'all already know. Cowboys, Baltimore Ravens. All right, listen, listen. I was on the show probably about a month ago, maybe a month and a half ago, and I said, man, listen, I'm not paying Dak Prescott the kind of money he wants. You got to be out your loving head. Hey, man, I had to change your heart. Had to change your heart.
Quick with the quickness, with
I
the
had to change your
quickness.
heart. So listen. I dug a little bit more into it, and this is the crazy thing that I got to talk about. If Dak Prescott gets franchised this year at like 37 million, and they franchise him next year at like I think it's like 40 some million. Between the last 3 years, that was the exact amount of money he wanted for 4 years. He was asking for that for 4 years, and you didn't give it to him. So, in my opinion, at this point, hey man, listen, you give the dude his money. If he wants a 3 year contract at whatever, you might as well give it to him. You have a roster that is ready to win. Um, I could tell you some scenarios that I would like other than Dak, but at the end of the day, you can't let Dak walk for almost nothing. So, in my opinion, when I'm going into this Dak Prescott, I got to look at it, man, and I got to take back what I said. Although, excuse me, although he's not, I'm not going to say he's worth it as far as the production on the field. There's nothing else you can do. The league has already made itself as far as what quarterbacks can make. And at the end of the day, you got to take care of your organization and give yourself the best chance to win. And that's going to be Dak Prescott at a number of probably 40 some million a year. But again, the last thing I'll say before I pass this on, all you had to do after his rookie year or even after his second year is pay that man what he wanted at that time. And you'd have been looking at a quarterback making what, high 20s? Because they were comparing the contract to what Carson Wentz was making. And Carson Wentz was getting like 20, 29, maybe 30. If you'd have paid him that right now, you'd have had him at a discount. But now you got to come out of your pocket. Jerry Jones, I know you talked about, you're getting up there in age and you might pass the buck to your son. Do do this some greatness because next year he might want 50. So you might want to get him when it's 40 because you messed up when it was 29, 30. Fade.
I'm not surprised that this is where we're at. I think you could see this years ago when Dak first started. I actually became a Dak fan. I mean, I do like the Cowboys. I won't deny it. But I became a Dak fan because he was the underdog. Not only, he was what, third round drafted? So he was that
Yeah.
underdog, came in when got hurt, and it's Jerry did not want to see him succeed. Just you could just tell right away that Jerry didn't want
Yep.
him to succeed. He wanted his boy to come back in, but you couldn't deny Dak's rookie year how well he was doing. He was running. It was a well-oiled machine. I mean, he was a rookie. Of course, there was mistakes, but he was doing good, and the team was doing good. So it's like from that onset because Jerry wanted his boy back and not necessarily Dak. I think that just soured the relationship from the start because Jerry was open about it. Like he wasn't like secret about, oh, I don't know if he's our quarterback. I don't know. Oh, Cowboys won another game. I don't know if he's the quarterback. We got to see. Cowboys won another game. I don't know. Like, come on, man. This dude is showing up. Like, what more do you want from a rookie? And then I know the last couple years weren't what they expected, but I think a lot of that had to do with leadership, not necessarily Dak per se. Um, I do think Dak needs. He's a good quarterback, but I do think he needs more pieces around him for him to be successful. Like he's not a Patty Mahomes. I think you can put Patty Mahomes on any team, and he probably would make them good, even with minimal, skill set receivers, running backs, whatever. I think Patty Mahomes would make them good. Dak, I don't think can do that, but I think that's okay. Like to me, I think a quarterback is probably the hardest position to find. So it's like
True.
you actually lucked up being able to go from dang, what's his name? Why am I losing his
Tony
name?
Romo.
Tony Romo, thank you. I think you lucked up being able to go to from Tony Romo, who was decent. I mean, they didn't win much with him, but he always put up good numbers. But I think you lucked up going from Tony Romo to Dak. Most teams can't do that. You had that period before you got to Tony Romo from Troy Aikman. So
Yeah.
most teams, Bengals, Browns, go ask them how it feels to be looking at quarterbacks every 2 years. It sucks. So to me, if I got a Dak, I'm gonna pay that because I don't. I know that the value just of a quarterback, period. So I think I would just want to pay that, so I didn't have to go back into the draft and then pay to get those pieces. Like you said, you could have had him at a discount if you would have been like, yeah, let's go ahead and get you locked up now. You probably could have had a big discount.
Oh yeah.
You, you big dummy.
Well, as Fav and I always say, prices just went up. There's no way that he's gonna take what he was asking for last year. They should have done it. I was on here the last time we talked about it and saying that the Cowboys were crazy not to. Who da, da, da. But listen, the thing is, a lot of quarterbacks are going to get paid a lot of money that's in most people's eyes are not worth it. However, that's just the market. It's the price of doing business. And that's just what it is. If you don't want somebody like that, then you need to get their butt out of the office. Get them out that seat and put who you want to be there. So then when it's time to pay, then you comfortable with it because at the end of the day, they're going to get paid. Period. Doesn't matter. So he could be a 7th-round pick. If he come in there and he start winning games and it's time for him to re-up, guess what? You're gonna have to pay him. So the Cowboys, yeah, they messed up. The problem is the biggest problem with the Cowboys is not even the Cowboys players, the coaches. It's Jerry Jones. He is the problem. Like he is the common denominator. Winning, he's a common denominator. Losing, he's a common denominator. Regardless of what's going on, he is the problem. What's going on? So what you guys are seeing right now with the Cowboys organization is directly coming from the head. And whenever the head is not right, you best believe the body is not going to be right. And so he needs to just step down and just say, "Hey, I'm still the owner, but I'm not going to be making decisions." I know it used to be at a point in time that he would hire, um, some of his former players to come in and kind of work for like personnel stuff like that. If he stopped doing that, he need to go do get somebody else in there, and he need to stick to what he knows. Um, at one point in time, yeah, he was really good at it, but not no more. You got to know when. You got to know when to fold them, and he keep trying to hold them, and they are not doing good. He's looking like John Elway to me, and John Elway was probably one of the top. He was a top five quarterback at the time when they were winning, and you would think that that person would know how to evaluate quarterbacks because he played the position at a high level. And you look at it, and he can't buy a quarterback to save his life. So, and that's where I'm at with with Jones. He did it at one point, but now it's just time. Like, man, maybe you just not up with the new trends. You know, maybe you still stuck in your old ways in '96, where you have a drop back passer. I don't know, but he is definitely the problem. And for them to move forward and to have some kind of success, he is going to have to change or get out the way. Otherwise, he's going to drag the Cowboys down, and they're going to become the new Bengals.
Now I will say this is my last comment on this part of the question, but I do think Dak also has to understand where he's at. Um, it's the Dallas Cowboys, right? And I know Jerry Jones this, Jerry Jones that, but look around the NFL as far as analysts. You have Cowboy royalty, Cowboy starters, and I'm not even going to talk about just quarterbacks. Michael Irvin on TV, Tony Romo on TV, Troy Aikman on TV, Jimmy Johnson on TV. You got all these dudes. So, yeah, I want you to get your money, but I want you to get your money, and I want you to be able to get your money after football. And you can do that with the Cowboys because that is a national brand. That is, if you are the leader of the Dallas Cowboys, your name is going to be in there. Tony Romo was a subpar. No, I'm sorry. He was a decent quarterback. I love my Cowboys, but he was a decent quarterback. And what did he just ink, a $17 million or something like that deal to commentate games? You getting paid more than starters in the NFL, and you don't have to do a darn thing on the field. You ain't got to put in no weightlifting. You don't have to admit nothing. So just looking at Tony Romo and what he's done, I mean, Dak's got to understand being a Cowboy can mean more than just the money. So get your money and play hardball, but make sure you stay a Cowboy somehow, some way.
See, I don't like that because that reminds me of college football. You come here and you just do what you're supposed to do, and you're gonna get yours. Uh, go sit on the bench for 3 years. But guess what? You at Alabama, so that fourth year, your fourth year, your senior year, all you gotta do out is go and ball and nah, forget that. Nah, I want me now. Give me me now. I sat there and
Hey,
I waited. I waited how many years? And we were trying to be patient. We were trying to be understanding. And now the money ran up, and now you looking crazy because you didn't want to pay me back then. But now the money run up. Now you talking some, oh, nah, give me me. And if you don't want to give me me, guess what? I'm gonna go somewhere else and I'm gonna beat your tail. Period. Because who the Cowboys gonna get? Who they gonna get? That's better than that. I mean, so this we're gonna move this into the second segment of this question. So because right now you have Dak Prescott that wants to be paid. You have um, Russell Wilson that wants to be out. You have what's your boy Watson for Houston. He wants to be out. So you have all of these quarterbacks that are, there's a lot of stuff going on. And, are you going to bring in a rookie quarterback to replace these guys at the level that they're playing at? I don't think so. But what do you guys think? Do you think that the Cowboys or any of these other teams can afford to let these for them to let these players walk out of their locker room, and who are they going to replace them with if they do?
So, oh man. So I'm gonna talk about Pittsburgh real quick, right? So the Pittsburgh Steelers and Ben Roethlisberger uh, just came up with a deal to lower his money on the salary cap so they can keep him. He can come back another year. Dante, this is kind of exactly what you're talking about. Hey, listen, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a succession plan right now. So what else were they going to do? They're not in a rebuilding. That's not what the Steelers do. Now, is it the Steelers' fault that they didn't have a quarterback that they felt could be on their roster? Absolutely. But at the end of the day, when you realize that you don't have that, you have to bring back Ben Roethlisberger because you don't have another decision. You let him go and you take that, whatever it was, $41 million cap hit. Okay, well, you can't get anybody. You're not going to find anybody at that price. So you get put in that position that, hey, you got to keep him. Listen, Russell Wilson just re-upped his deal. If he gets traded, that cap hit is astronomical. Now, Dante, the Cowboys need to get Russ Wilson. Anyway, I digress. But hey, listen,
Hold up, hold
Sierra,
up, hold up, hold up, hold
Sierra
up,
already Texas, so I mean,
hold up. How they gonna get him? What they gonna give up? What they gonna do?
I would talk to Dak. What do you want? I would make sure the Seahawks are willing to take that on. And this is your deal. You sign the tender, because if he signs a tender, he can be traded. So sign the tender, and I can trade you, and then you can go get your money from Seattle, or we can give you your money and we'll trade you. But nonetheless, when I look at Russ Wilson and I look at Deshaun Watson, two different teams, two total different organizations. If I was Seattle, I would think about trading Russ in the right situation. Pete Carroll has talked about he wants to run the ball. Russ Wilson wants to pass the ball. They just fired their offensive coordinator because he was on Russ's side as far as passing the ball. So now we have to go to the Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson is in a dysfunctional organization that you have guys coming out and talking about the organization, right? And I think that's where the issue comes in. You got J.J. Watt, who was Mr. Texan, and he asked to be let go, right? I don't see anybody asking to be let go from Seattle. So two total different situations, but Deshaun Watson's got to go somewhere else. If I was Deshaun Watson, listen, I know I love money, but they're going to guarantee, well, your contract is guaranteed for a certain amount. I would be, hey, I show up, I got a hamstring injury, I'm not going in there. Call me what you want, say what you want, but I'm not playing it down for you. If you don't want to trade me, but you going to give J.J. Watt a trade? Nah. Russell Wilson, on the other hand, it's so difficult because of that huge cap hit that they're going to take, and they're not the Texans in a rebuilding. They just had an opportunity to make moves, or should I say make waves in the playoffs, because they, beginning of the season, middle of the season, they were playing very well, and they have a lot of pieces there, but they need that quarterback. So they have to do it strategically if they get rid of him, as far as replacing him. But in terms of that, that's where I stand. Go ahead, Fade.
I'm sorry. What was the question?
So basically, the question was, with everything going on in the NFL and all of these different quarterbacks, or either trying to lead their team, or you have like Big Ben, like Jarrell was saying, taking less money to stay with the team. If these teams don't want to work it out with their players and they let them leave, you know, who are they going to replace them with? Are they going to use the rookies that's coming in, or is it better to just try to find some kind of level playing field or some kind of common ground to make it work, or peace? in between.
Mm. I think you're going to see a lot of opportunity for a lot of younger quarterbacks to come in because I think a lot of them have seen you can be successful with young quarterbacks starting out, and it seems to be the mold that they want to go to because it's cheap labor. You
Yep.
bring in a quarterback who could be decent or whatever, rookie. If he does good, he's on a rookie deal, and you can get some big pieces around him before his contract is up. So I think with this kind of turn of the tide, that you'll see even more of that, more teams going with rookie players. I mean, if you look at it, man, I remember when we were like younger watching football and you saw the Tim Tebow's of the world and all these others, Vince Young of the world. Think about all these quarterbacks that were literally doing what these quarterbacks today are doing on the reg. So, and it was always, oh, that's not going to be in the pros. That's not going to, and now it's kind of second nature that your quarterback needs to be a running quarterback pretty much to run the offense successfully. So I think that's why you'll see more of it. And to me, I like it because I think if there's going to be any position that's going to force a change in the guard in the NFL when it comes to how business is done, like the NBA, how players pretty much can dictate wherever the heck they want to go. I think it's going to have to be quarterbacks ushering that change of I'm not happy for whatever reason. I'm not happy, so hey, I want out. And I think now you're definitely with players now like, yeah, I want to go where I want to go. I want to play where I want to play. Whenever the CBA up, which I thought the CBA was up in 2020. I thought cuz didn't they do, I could have sworn they did it in 2010 and it was I know it was like 10
They
years.
they just did it, I think.
Oh.
Yeah, I feel like they just I think I feel like they
I
just
want to
did
look
it.
that up.
Um
Because if they need to change free agency. That's what I would think they would
yes.
want to change is change free agency. So, but in with all of that saying, that's why I was saying that was with quarterbacks pushing that, I feel at some point that you'll see that change across the NFL that players getting more freedom.
Hey, bro. So let me just share, Dante. I know you got to go. So kind of talking what Fabe was talking about, as far as young quarterbacks and things like that. Here's the thing: young quarterbacks are great. Just don't get them in the first round. Crazy stat: 22 quarterbacks drafted in the first round from 2009 to 2016. Zero are on the team that drafted them. Zero. Since 2009, 37 QBs drafted. Only Mahomes has won a Super Bowl, and only two others made it to a Super Bowl, which I believe was Cam Newton and the Rams quarterback.
Golf.
Yeah, Jared Goff. The only two that made it to a Super Bowl. But when you look at it, Russell Wilson, third round, Dak Prescott, fourth round. You got a lot of guys like Fabe is saying, they're making peanuts when their team is great. What has Russell Wilson done? I'm not saying him, but what has a team done since they gave him that big money? It's very hard. Tom Brady this year got paid what,
Yeah,
$25 million for
25.
whatever. He's somewhere in the middle of the pack as far as highest rated or highest paid quarterbacks. Come on, man. So I don't think that paying a quarterback means you're going to win. But like Dante said, that's what the going rate is. And I think when you're about that going rate, you got to do what you got to do, because if you don't have a Dak Prescott, who are you going to turn to? A
Mm-hmm.
rookie with a roster that you have? That's tough. That's tough. Go ahead, Dante.
Yeah. As I was saying before, man, I think that it's going to be very interesting to see, because it's not like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, where cats, I keep wanting to say cats are playing at these teams and they don't want to be there. And they're just like, whatever, I'm just gonna make it to free agency. I'm just gonna wait. Nah, man, these cats is like, man, listen, I'm out. I'm done. I checked out. Get me off this team. And so they better start. They better start listening to what they players are saying, because when you it's one thing when you have the third string quarterback or the third string left guard saying stuff like this. You'd be like, oh, all right, deuces. I'll let you. I'll send you a check to your crib. But when you have your starting and your star quarterback in the face of the organization, bro, you gotta listen. You gotta hear what they're saying, because at the end of the day, and I think this is what what Jarrell and I we usually always say is that a lot of coaches become very arrogant because they've been there, they done that, and so it's like you can't tell me nothing. Like Kanye said, yeah, you can't tell me nothing, and so you basically they just go through the motion and like, nah, that's what I'm gonna do. Coach the Christopher, we're gonna run the veer. We're gonna run the veer. And when that doesn't work, guess what we're gonna do? We're gonna run the veer. And guess what? We went to the playoffs and lost because we want to run the veer. So you have to be able to adapt. You have to be able to change. And if you don't know it, get somebody around you that knows, so that you
Mm-hmm.
can be, so you're not one dimensional. So you're not just doing the same old thing, because the teams that win, they adapt. Like I'm very surprised that the Ravens haven't won yet, and I know it's coming soon because they are adapting. Every year they're adapting. They're not just saying, well, we got no, they are adapting. And those are the teams that you want to see. So but the CBA, yes, they just passed it in 2020, so they have till
Okay.
2030
Yeah, 2030.
before they can re up. But the thing with that is, gosh, everybody got to come together, man,
Yeah.
and be on one page. Like that's that's what it is, man. The NBA they do it and they do it right. And the players are like, hey, listen, we'll do what we need to do. I think that the Pouncey brothers they kind of had the right mindset when it came to it. Hey, listen, if you don't got the money, we got you. But if they want when 2030 come around, if they want to have a NBA like uh, not want to say
Union.
friendship, but yeah, union or uh, vibe like the NBA has a vibe with their owners and management. Basically, they gonna have to stick together. The people that making that money, so the Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott, because he about to get paid. They gonna have to be like, hey, listen, we put this money aside 5 years ago, and that's
Yep.
what they got to start doing right now. Like if they want to be what they need to start putting money aside and saying, hey, listen, everybody in the NFL, start putting money aside right now because we ain't playing unless this stuff right. And if they do that, then boom, they good. So,
Hey,
with, go ahead.
just don't put it in Robin Hood.
Yeah, man, Robin Hood, man. Hey, shame on you.
um, Dante, I did want to mention. We just got a little quick comment. Jim Hankey says, if you're a quarterback and want to win long term, money has to be sacrificed in the NFL. Just his opinion. What are your thoughts, real quick?
I think that see that's a tough one because I think that you could I think that you could probably get paid top dollar. However, if that's the case, then the other people around you would have to sacrifice. But with you being the leader of the team, it would definitely look better for you to sacrifice. And I think, people would, be more willing to, I guess, come and take less money as well because you're sacrificing. Um, but hey, at the end of the day, man, you can't be pocket watching. Everybody has different motives. Everybody got different things they got to take care of. And at the end of the day, the name of the game is to make as much money as you can before it's over, because everybody knows the NFL stands for not
Not for
for
long.
long. So
Oof.
it's a tough one.
So I got one quick comment. That is so true. Everybody except for two players, in my opinion, or three players: Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes. Pay the defense. Offensive line got to be stable. His weapons can be whatever they are. But you're absolutely right. In today's NFL, it truly you, you got to be smart, and it's hard because you're playing a position and you got this dude making 40 mil and you're better than him and you're like, psh. But he's right. Jim is spot on there. I think that quarterbacks have to take a discount as the leader of the team to be like, I don't want to do this myself. I want to do this with other people. Patrick Mahomes is a perfect example. Although his contract was large, if you look at how it's constructed, it is very, very, very team friendly, which I think is smart on Patrick Mahomes' part to say, hey, listen, I know that some people still got to eat, and I'm gonna let y'all do that to a certain extent. I need my money, but I'm gonna need that done to a certain extent. Fade, you got any response to it?
I was surprised at what Dante said because Dante's always Mr. Get Your Money. um, man, that's tough because it is such a valued position. So I get why they feel they need their monies. So why do you guys think that you know what? I guess it really is what the quarterback wants. Does the quarterback and team goals align? I know the team always wants to win a Super Bowl, but it's like, do you want to win a Super Bowl or just be a very, very good team for years? Like, Seahawks, okay, they gave Russell his money. They've been a good team for many, many years. Haven't won Super Bowls. But Tom Brady, he made a sacrifice and they won many, many Super Bowls over the course of his career. So it's like, and now hopefully you'll see Patrick Mahomes do that same thing maybe with the way he did his deal and win Super Bowls for many, many years. So I think that's what it kind of has to boil down to as a quarterback looking at it. Do you just want to be very, very Aaron Rodgers? Do you just want to be very, very good for years? Well, I know you said pay Aaron Rodgers his money, but still, you get my gist. Do you want to just be very, very good for years or actually, free up some money and go do something? But again, what's hard with that is you have to trust the team. Now, if I'm Tom Brady, he trusted Bill Belichick to go do stuff. So Belichick never went and did anything for the dang offense, but he would do pieces here and there for the defense, but Brady made it work. So they had their thing. Brady made it work. So I guess that's the other big piece in it. Am I okay, I give you this money, are you going to invest it wisely?
Ha ha.
Or are you going to be boo boo the fool and I took a pay cut and we still ain't making the playoffs?
Do you trust your organization to do right, or do you need to trust yourself and get your money? Because you're right, Faye. Listen, if Tom Brady, I don't need to go anywhere else. Tom Brady took a pay cut, always restructured his deal to make sure that they had money. Now, to me, because of who they got around him, that also helped him as far as, hey, I make a mistake, defense can get me back the ball. If we're in a tight game, I know the defense can get a stop, which to me puts himself in that conversation then for the greatest ever because he stayed relevant for the last 20 years. He's been in the playoffs or going far in the playoffs in the Super Bowl in the last 20 years. He's been relevant. So for him, yeah. But for other guys, they might be like, nah, it's not that important. I want to get my money.
I was gonna say the other thing too, man. And favorite, yeah, you're definitely right, man. I definitely believe that they need to get their money because at the end of the day, when they getting out that bed, they body broken, you know, you gonna need that money, bro. You gonna need that money. But this is the thing that I have the most problem with is that whenever, because I remember like Antonio Brown wanted to get paid. I remember when what's his name, Holmes, wanted to get paid. Classical Birds wanted to get paid.
Mm-hmm.
All of these Pittsburgh cats, because I was in Pittsburgh for last 13 years. So, but all these cats wanted to get paid, and all I would hear their fans say, "Man, you just take the discount. You don't gotta get all that money." But it's like at the end of the day, it's a business, and the business is gonna do what's best for them. Like, and people always looking at it like, oh, and I think sometimes people look at it from a blind eye, because like for instance, if you're working on your job and it's time for you to get paid, and they say, you know what, hey man, hey bro, hey, I know you supposed to get this raise, but hey, let's go ahead and cut that thing in half because we gotta pay such and such around the corner, and we don't want them to leave.
We
Boy,
fighting.
you know what people be saying? Yes, sir. Let's go, bro. You better come see me out here. What Will Smith used to say on Fresh Prince? Hey, you want to take this outside, my brother? Yeah, that's exactly what be happening. And so people don't be looking at it from that standpoint. They're just looking at, oh, well, they're making millions of dollars of playing a kids game. But listen, they put in a lot of work. They probably waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning working while you sleep. They doing all of this while you probably ain't doing nothing. And yeah, and they making a lot of money. However, it's still a business, and they deserve whatever they make because at the end of the day, they are the ones that's bringing the people and putting them in the seat. At last time I checked, I haven't seen anybody wearing they go into the game and they're wearing a suit to represent the owner. No, they got the players jersey on, representing the players and trying to emulate them. They want to be like them, and so these cats are the ones that's bringing the money in. So if they need that raise and they need that money, hey, you better make it happen. You better find a way. And but that's why the GMs get paid what they get paid to make it work. And but I think that's where a lot of people lose sight is that if you were in their shoes, it not even at that level, just at your regular job, and it was time for you to get your raise, and they came and said, "Hey, we need a hometown discount. What's up? Hook a brother up and take some money and take some less money." People will be hot. People will be about to shoot the place up because they tried me. They tripping. So I just want people to think about that as well when it comes down to home count discount or hometown discount. So the next time you get ready to go up for your raise, you go ahead and tell your boss, hey, I don't need all that. I want to be a team player because I know you got to get somebody else on raise, and we'll see how their pockets feel after that. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into this basketball. So yeah, Faye, hey, get your money, bro. Get that money. So the next question, man. See where that thing at. All right. So when it comes to the NBA, does the regular season matter, or is it just the playoffs? What are your thoughts?
Mm, mm. Hey, listen, we're gonna make this nice and easy, right? Regular season don't matter. Regular season matters to regular season matters to a certain extent, as far as you as a team building together. The regular season doesn't matter wins and losses. As long as now I'm talking about the upper echelon teams. I'm not talking about the eighth seed who's fighting and fighting. No, I'm talking about usually the top four, maybe five seeds who know that they're going to be in the playoffs. It's just about positioning, getting your team right. Um, what I love about this question is it's really relevant because it kind of just happened in the terms of how do we think. The Brooklyn Nets just went to the West Coast and beat every single team without Kevin Durant. They beat the Lakers, they beat the Clippers, they beat the Utah Jazz, all of them without Kevin Durant. Does it matter? No, because when you get into the playoffs, nothing else matters but that game because you got to beat a team four times in a row. They're going to know you like the back of their hand. And normally, that's where money is made. That's where legacies are built, playoffs. So, as much as I love the regular season, I almost view the NBA regular season as a preseason tune up. You try to figure some things out. You try to find some offense, figure out who you can depend on in late game situations, sets you need to run, all this, that, and the third. But it's a preseason to the real season, which is the playoffs. Now, the NFL, there's little, as far as 16 games, everything counts. On the flip side, there's so many games in the NBA that it doesn't matter. You can lose 10 or 15 games if you're the Lakers that you shouldn't have lost. You're trying to work on things. You can rest guys. You can try new things. You can try new lineups. You can do all that. But when it comes to the playoffs, total different story. I think that's why you saw last year when you had the Lakers going up against the Heat and LeBron's playing heavy minutes. Um, uh, Butler's playing heavy minutes, and Butler's spent after a game. He can barely even move because he's giving it his all. You don't give it like that in the regular season because you got to think about, I got to play tomorrow. When you get to the NBA, it's totally different. So because of the number of games, it it kind of dilutes the water, and it's like, we lost to the. I'm trying to think of a terrible team. We lost to the Cavaliers tonight. It's okay. We got tomorrow. We got a day off tomorrow. We need to gear up tomorrow to go play the Brooklyn Nets. And I'm a go out there and get some conditioning in. So that's how I feel on it. Faber Dante, go ahead.
Yeah, I pretty much think the same thing that the regular season doesn't it doesn't matter as much. So I don't know because like honestly the obviously the only player that I care about is Mr. LeBron James. But but
LeBron James.
but like for me, I honestly don't even watch the regular season of basketball. Like my consumption of basketball during the regular season is pretty much from other sports channels. Like, oh, okay, this happened, that happened. Oh, this person had a triple double, whatever, whatever. So I know that there's probably a lot more hardcore basketball fans that want to tune in to 70 whatever. I know they what 73 they got this year, something like that. 70 something games, but it's like it really don't matter. And like you said, the players are just using it as a glorified, elongated preseason. Unless you're Kawhi Leonard, who only plays like 2 games the whole season.
Dang.
Come
Shout
at
out,
me,
shout out.
bro.
And
Come at
just
me,
play
bro.
Hey,
off. But you got the best
shout.
player in the game who shows up day in and day out,
Oh,
and
wow.
then he shows up when it's playoff time, ready to go. 17 years in, doing it strong. Yeah.
LeBron's the man. He's the man. Uh, he's the man. Um,
Of all time?
you're welcome. Of his generation. Of his generation.
Okay.
Um, does it matter? I'm going to say yes. It does matter, and the reason why I say it does is because the regular season sets you up for the playoffs. It sets you up for that postseason. And if you are just struggling to get by, and so now you the AC, now I guess who you got to play? You got to play the best. And if you've been struggling, that means that you ain't on your P's and Q's. That means that y'all ain't on the same page. You better get swept. So, in my opinion, yes, it does matter because it helps you fine tune and gets you ready for the playoffs because it's almost kind of like one of those things like I know a lot of times they say hey try to get hot right before the playoffs you know because once you get hot then you're good to go but if you stumbling into the playoffs it's gonna be rough it's gonna be tough maybe you do kind of maybe you do pull it out but for the most part the teams that they try to get it right and they figure it out before they get into the playoffs. They're the teams that usually to be messed with. Like for instance, I'll say the Bucks. I mean, we kind of struggled, throughout the. I won't say struggle, but we had some ups and some downs and some very highs and very lows. But once it got close, I think we had won like the last five. So if you
After
and
the
then
bye
on
week.
top of that, yep, after the bye week, and if we would have lost, I think maybe one of those games, we don't even make it in. So that shows you the importance of it. But I know this is football, not basketball, but it just kind of shows you the importance that yes, the regular season games they do matter, but it's not at the level of the playoffs but at the same time, you still got to play good enough to get to the playoffs. And if you don't play good enough, and if you don't feel like it's that important, you're not going to make it there. So that's why I would say that. And LeBron is the man. However, the man is not going to win this year. As I said last 2 weeks ago, the Nets are going to win the NBA Finals this year. Boom.
Hmm. Okay.
I know you got something to say. Go ahead.
Nope.
Go ahead. Put your foot in your mouth again. Go ahead. Say it.
We'll save that part for another day.
Oh, all right, Fave, on you, bro.
All right, guys.
Unless you guys say something about LeBron
No,
again.
I ain't got nothing. Actually, Jarrell, I'll toss it to you because I don't have anything here for YouTube, so I'll toss it to
Okay.
you for the
Oh,
segment.
wait, let me say something real quick. I bet you he watching right now. Great White, if you're watching, I didn't get no invite today. I'm very disappointed. Come see me. Let's go. Go ahead.
So this is the last segment of the Deep Third podcast. So each and every week we give a chance for the fans, listeners, watchers, however you do it, to kind of chime in and give their thoughts, ask their questions. So we had this earlier in the show. I was just holding it and saving it. So Mr. Jim Hankey asked, what is your opinion on the Giants QB situation? Or what should they do at the QB position with Daniel Jones? Keep him or move on?
Uh, do you want me to just answer it or answer it with a reason why?
Go ahead and answer it. Go ahead and answer it and give your reasoning.
I would say that I know he kind of struggled a little bit, and this season, but I would say let him. I would say keep him, because the reason why is because all right. So unless you're gonna call Houston and say, hey, we want Watson. Unless you're gonna call Seattle and say, hey, we want Russell. Unless you about to call another team that that needs to get or that's willing to give up their quarterback, and you're willing to give up a lot, I keep him because like yes, he struggled, but at the same time, he's only going. This would be, I think, his what third season that he's going
Third.
into.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he still has some room to grow. So you're going to get a quarterback. You're going to get a rookie quarterback, and now you're going to go through that whole process again. And then there's no telling what. And that's the thing. The NFL draft is a lottery. Like you're basically going off of what players did in college. But when you get to the NFL, it's a different animal. And so maybe they, because there's a lot of times Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf. So like you can't sit there and like, there's no sure thing when it comes to it. So if you have somebody in the building and you feel like that they can eventually get there, and let's face it, the Giants ain't about to win no Super Bowl next tomorrow. The Giants, they have a lot of pieces missing, and so just get your quarterback right, and then start adding pieces around him. Last time I saw the Giants play, I saw the boy running for his life. So he looked like Forrest Gump out there. So I don't know what else to tell him. They need to shore up the line. They need to get some more weapons. I mean, you let one of the best receivers leave because I don't know what y'all doing in New York. I'm just glad I ain't a Giants fan. That's all I gotta say.
Well, I know for sure Mr. Hankey's a Giants fan. I will say,
Good luck to you, brother. Good luck.
I will say this nice kind thing. RG3, Kirk Cousins. I say that for one reason and one reason only. RG3 was drafted in the first round. Kirk Cousins was drafted in the fourth round. RG3 lasted about one good old season. Kirk Cousins is still making millions. I would, not early, but I might pick a quarterback this year that I believe that could give him a run for his money and say, hey, y'all battle it out. I'm not going after a veteran. I'm not paying anybody a substantial amount of money because I think we've already said it. I think they're more than just a player away. But if you need to see whether or not Daniel Jones can lead your organization, because realistically, you got about 2 to 3 years. You have next year plus at least one additional year because he was drafted in the first round. He gets that 5-year deal, and then you can franchise him. So in a sense, technically, you got 3 years to figure it out. And now we got to look at Baker Mayfield because Baker Mayfield, I'm not going to say he's a Daniel Jones, but he's coming up on that where you weren't too sure. He showed flashes at the end of his rookie season. And then last year, he showed signs at the end of the season. So it's almost that same thing. It's like, hey, Daniel, I need you to show me something. I'm not bringing in a veteran, but I might bring somebody in to compete with you.
Yeah, I like that thought of
And my other,
oh, my bad, my bad.
oh, I was gonna say, and the last thing is Saquon Barkley. I just saw in the comments and I forgot all about it. Steve Harrison chimed in with, hopefully Saquon comes back. If you have a full
Yeah,
healthy
that
Saquon
changes everything. That
and
changes everything.
Daniel Jones doesn't produce at that time, at this point of his career, I think you can make a statement at that point. But he was young. Obviously, what, first year with Saquon? Yeah. First year with Saquon. Last year didn't have him. Hopefully next year he has him. And maybe you get to see what can happen when teams got to worry about a run game and not just Daniel Jones might run down the field and fumble the ball, or he might drop back and fumble the ball, or he might just throw it to the other team. The last option they got, they can go out and get Dak Prescott.
Oh,
Go out and get him.
Who y'all
J-
gonna get?
Jason Garrett sitting over there. Jerry Jones loves him some Jason Garrett. Go ahead, Jerry Jones. Go ahead and give it to him. Just saying.
He'll probably get Dak away for a 7th-round pick right now.
Yep. I got another question as well, Fabe. So if you have something, go ahead. If not, I got another question. Should the Jets hold on to Sam Darnold for one more year or trade the second pick?
How about they get rid of the whole Jets organization?
Oh snap! God, dog, just drop a bomb on them, huh? Boom.
Oh,
Good graciousness!
man.
Why such a animosity?
Ain't no animosity, just they horrible.
He's like, just get rid of everybody.
Hey, man, but they got like 80 million in cap room, bro. They about to turn that thing around. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie. I really like Sam Darnold. I gotta let him go. I gotta let him go. I think you're if I'm the Jets, I'm about 2 years away. And 2 years away for Sam Darnold means after this year, you're gonna have to pay him some top dollar. I'm looking at it
away from what?
from being good. Listen, they got Saleh as a head coach who's about to get that defense right. They got about 2 years to get that offense right. But here's what I'm saying. Here's what I'm saying. You got to listen. I would rather take famous Jameis Winston on a 4-year deal at $15 million than to go ahead and try to pay Sam Darnold. Because again, you may not know Sam Darnold after this year as far as whether or not he's your franchise. You may not know. It's the first year inside of your scheme or whatever it is. So you still may not know after this first year. And you got to pay him. So in my opinion, I think I'm going to move on from Sam and either draft a guy, which I don't recommend, or get a guy like famous Jameis Winston. Hey, I'm telling you, he got his eyes fixed, my brothers. He got his eyes fixed. There's a reason why Sean Payton's saying he wants him back in the Saints uniform. If he can't get, well, he didn't say this part. If he can't get Deshaun Watson or Russell Wilson, he wants him back in that uniform. That's all I'm saying.
I don't see the Jets having. I'll be quick. I don't see the Jets having an opportunity because now you still have to worry about Bill Belichick every year and whatever he does, and now you have what's his name in Buffalo.
The Bills.
The Bills,
Oof.
like
Bills, yeah, McDermott, yeah.
I know, Patty Mahomes took him behind the shed. I know that, but the kid's young, man, and I think he's just gonna get better.
Bro,
So,
and you got the Dolphins.
and then you got the Dolphins. So
Oof.
that's I mean, man,
Yeah,
he's got I get it. They got 80 mil, but he has a uphill battle.
Yeah, they best bet is to go to Roger Goodell and say, "Can you please put us in a different, put us somewhere else, please? Take us out of there."
Yeah, because you got to worry
That's the
about your
only thing.
boy with the Bills for the next 12 to 15 years.
Yeah. And just to be truth be told, the Patriots got like 60 mil to spend.
They ain't spending no money.
And they about to get back they 5 guys that opted out.
Oh,
It ain't gonna be pretty. I'm gonna go ugly face on you.
They still might be ugly because they ain't got no quarterback. So,
Oh, you just wait. You just wait. You just wait.
what do you think they're gonna do?
Playoffs next year. You'll see.
Oh Lord,
I
Who the
got a
quarterback?
couple of names. when we get on the
Say
show,
one. Say one.
maybe
Say one.
I'm not gonna say it yet. I'm gonna save it for next week. We could talk about it next week. We could talk about it next week. Patriots next week.
Boy said, "No
Cam
boys ain't going
Newton.
to the playoffs."
Cam Newton.
You right. You right. They are going to the playoffs. They gonna buy tickets and go to somebody's playoff game.
Well, I don't have any other questions. One more. Oh no, that's not a question. Um, Someone said Deshaun to the Patriots. We ain't gonna go there. Hey,
Oh.
listen, I gotta say, man, I appreciate the conversation in the chat today. Um, it it's been lit today, man. So thank everybody for watching. Again, whether you're catching it live or you catching it on the flip side, we appreciate you. Go on over to YouTube, find our page, Deep Third Podcast, click that like, subscribe button. We doing big things. We have fun. I used to say it every time when we first started. Hey man, three best friends sitting here talking about sports. I love it. I love it.
Let go. Let's go, man.
Take us
Good
out,
show,
Fade.
fellas.
All
Good
right,
show, fellas.
everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the Deep Third Sports Podcast episode. Make sure you guys hit that like button. Make sure you guys subscribe over there on YouTube as well. And make sure those of you on Facebook, make sure y'all go check out the Facebook page and like the Facebook page as well. So again, thank you guys. See you all next week.
See you on the catch you on the flip side.